Hello everyone, this is Ariel Clay, the San Joaquin County 4-H program representative with another ORB help video. So today we're going to go over the Projects tab. So I'm going to show you what that is and how to make updates to your project information. So basically this tab correlates to your annual project report forms, your APRs. So if you're wondering how to do an APR in Online Record Book, this is the tab that's related to that. So we're going to go ahead and just click on the green button. We're not going to click on the drop-down menu just yet. Now you'll see that it gives you a little summary of everything that you're currently enrolled in. And if you're enrolled in multiple clubs, it will break it down by club. So right here, it says Joaquin Club 2, which is a fake club used for my fake account. But let's say that I was also enrolled in Joaquin Club 95. Then it would have another box right here with all of the projects related to that club. So it helps you keep organized if you're doing multiple projects through multiple clubs. Now, let's say that you're actually enrolled in 4 projects and you only see 3 right here. The way you would fix that is actually through your 4-H online enrollment information. So you would log into your 4-H online account, go into your personal profile, and go towards the end where it has club and project enrollment information. And then you would add whatever projects were missing there. Same thing if you need to remove a project. So let's say you didn't actually end up doing baking and bread making and you want to remove it from ORB. You would go to 4-H online, go to your enrollment information, and remove baking and bread making from your project list. And then usually ORB will update within about 15 minutes, sometimes shorter, sometimes maybe a little bit longer. They're 2 separate websites, so it can take some time for them to communicate between each other. So if it doesn't show up right away, give it a little bit of time. All right, so the summary will also let you know your volunteer title. So that's generally if you're a teen leader or a junior leader, something like that. I am not that for any of these projects, so it says not applicable. And then under APR, it says incomplete. So basically that means I've started them, but I haven't submitted them. And I'll show you what submitting is towards the end of this video. But basically, if I had submitted it, it would say submitted here instead of incomplete. Okay, so to view each individual APR, you can either click here, View, or you can go to the drop-down menu right here. So this View button and this Baking and Bread Making drop menu category would take me to the exact same place, which is this. So like the personal development record, the project page has this handy-dandy navigation bar kind of up on top. And it'll automatically drop you off here at APR instructions and project details. So all of this information on this page is automatically pulled from your 4-H online profile. So you don't need to enter in any of this information. It'll already be here. If you notice there's a mistake, then yeah, you'll need to go back to your 4-H online account and fix it there for it to be reflected here. But yeah, it should already be good to go. Next is project meetings. So this has all of the project meetings I've reported so far. And down here at the bottom is where you keep track of your attendance. So meetings held, you just choose from the drop-down menu how many meetings you ended up were scheduled that year. So let's say your project leader scheduled 8 meetings. So you would select 8 to show how many meetings were held and save that. And then you can see it automatically calculated your percent attended. So it used to be 70% and now it's 87. The meetings attended are automatically calculated based on how many entries you have here. So I have 7 entries, so I have 7 meetings attended. Now, let's say you need to add a meeting. So I know I went to all 8 meetings. I only have 7 attended. I would go back in here and figure out what I missed. So, I don't have my April meeting here. To add a meeting, you go up to the activity button with its cute little piggy, and you put in a project meeting entry. So it's for the baking and bread making project. We'll say April project meeting. And we'll pretend it was on April 13th. Right, and it would be at the club unit project level. It's for the current project year. And let's say it was at 1234 B Street, Stockton. So you can put in addresses, or you can put in Mrs. Clay's house or something like that, just so that you know where it was, and a reasonable person could figure out where it was based on that. Okay, hours required. Let's say it was a 2-hour meeting. Generally, you don't have to change the county unless if you were doing a cross-county agreement. So in that case, you'll know. If you don't know why you would need to change the county, then you don't need to change the county. Basically, you would know what this is if it applies to you. Okay, and then learning experiences is required because it's for the annual project report form. So we learned stuff and junk. Obviously, that is a terrible entry for learning experiences. You should be much more detailed, but we're just doing a sample. So you add event. It adds the activity, and you can see it just updated. So there it is right there. And now I have 8 meetings attended and 100% attendance. So that's how you add meetings. All right, let's move on to the learning experiences. And you can see I have quite a few entered. Pretty much all of them are project meetings, except for this one. I put in a cupcake bake sale, basically. So that was related to my baking project. But let's say that we did something else. So it wasn't a project meeting, it was just a general activity, but it was related to baking and bread making. Let's say you took a field trip to the Hostess Bakery. But it wasn't a normal project meeting. It was an optional field trip that your project leader or a family arranged. So it wasn't a normally scheduled meeting, but it was related to your project. You learned something about baking and bread making. Let's pretend it was in June 13th. Sounds good. And then this would actually be able to show up in your PDR as well, because it's a 4-H activity you did. So you could put it down as a general 4-H event. So a field trip to the Hostess Bakery could be considered a 4-H event. Or if you don't want it to show up in your PDR. So for example, let's say you did a swine project and you vaccinated your pig. You can include that as a learning experience. It's something you did for your project and something where you were learning or practicing skills. So you can include it in your annual project report, but it wouldn't really qualify for anything under your PDR. So for learning experiences, you can put in everything you do related to your project. So if you really wanted it to be thorough, you could include every time you cleaned your pig pen. If you decided to practice baking a recipe that you learned at your project and you make it for your family at home, you can put that in your APR. The record book is all about keeping track of what you want to keep track of. So you can be as detailed or as general as you want. Right, so selecting level, that was organized by the project, so we'll say it's project level. And for location, we'll just put down Hostess Bakery. Let's say it was a 4-hour thing. We toured the Hostess Bakery. Now, obviously, you'd want to put down more detail, like what you learned, what you saw, that kind of thing. But just add event. Okay, and it updates. And where did that go? There we go. Sorry, didn't see it for a second. Field trip to Hostess Bakery. So it shows up now in your learning experiences. Things made, raised, etc. So that goes here. So you can see that I was keeping a list of everything that I made for from my project meetings. So these would actually correspond to the project meetings that I have listed under project meetings. So if you want to add something new, the button is down here. It's not up here like most other things. It's actually down in this corner. So you would add a new thing. So let's say we made cupcakes again. And you would put the date that you made them, May 22nd. And let's say we made 100. We really went to town on that. Okay, and add thing. And there you go, your 100 cupcakes. All right, next would be honors and awards. Okay, you can see I already have entered a gold medal at Food Fiesta. But if you wanted to add more to this, you would click award. So let's say 3rd place at County Cook Off. So if you used the skills that you were learning in your baking and bread making project at this county cook-off competition, you could include it here. So 1/3 place out of 6 teams. Just a general description. This would not be a major honor or milestone. Usually that would be 1st or 2nd place probably, but this is 3rd, so we'd consider it to be a ribbon, certificate, or seal. That means it's only going to show up in your APR. It won't go on to the honors and recognition section of your PDR. All right, and that is a county level award. It's for baking and bread making, and then we add the award. Oh, and I'm not sure why it put me back out here, but we can get back to where we were, no problem. So we were on honors and awards. And there you go, 3rd place at County Cook-Off. And then it lets you know if it was a milestone or not here. So the gold medal was, the 3rd place was not. All right, citizenship activities. I do not have any citizenship activities related to this project yet. So once again, I would report that using an activity. It would be a general event or activity because it wouldn't be a project meeting per se, related to baking and bread making. And then I would make sure that I clicked here, community service and citizenship. Now, it would also end up showing up on your personal development records in addition to your baking and bread making. So you would just fill that out as a normal activity and add it. And then it would show up here. But we're going to move on to leadership activities. So I was part of a committee. So I went ahead and added that earlier. Once again, to add a leadership activity, you would go to the activity button. Make sure that you select leadership development and your baking and bread making, and then just fill it out like any other activity, and it'll show up both here on your APR and also in section 4 of your personal development record. Expenses and income. So in this project, I was keeping track of what I was what I was purchasing for each project meeting, so about $5 per project meeting. But then I also sold something. I sold 20 loaves of wheat bread, so that was income. And then it gives you a total profit or loss. It lets you see how much you've been spending, how much you end up making. And to add an expense or income, you would just go up here and fill out this brief form. It's pretty self-explanatory. So you would put the item name. So like down here, I put in ingredients for project meeting 1, when it happened, the quantity, and then the overall expense. So some people get confused. They'll put in like 5 and then $5 each, thinking that it'll multiply out to 25. ORB doesn't do that. You just put in the quantity here and then you would put in the total expense. So in that example, it would be 25. Now, if it was income, so like the loaves of wheat bread, you would leave expenses at 0 and you would put in income instead. And then you just hit add expense or income. All right, life skills learned. This is essentially the reflection question at the end of the APR. So if another member was thinking about taking this project next year, what would you tell him or her can be learned in this project? So you would just kind of use this as an opportunity to reflect a little bit on what you learned and phrase it in a way of giving advice to somebody who comes into the project for the first time next year. So once again, I'm giving a terrible example. We learned stuff in junk. You definitely want to be more thorough than that, but I don't want to make you guys watch me type for hours. And then the expression page. Okay, so the expression page, you would actually make the basics of this outside of ORB. So you can make it using a Word document, Excel, or a PDF. So you can scan something, save it as a PDF, and then upload it here. So to do that, you would just choose a file. Let's see. Let's upload the the interview flyer. And I just hit upload and I'm waiting for it to do that. That can often take a second. Okay, and there it is. So you can see that it's saved as a PDF, and it's a contest flyer. And if you want to see what you uploaded, then you just hit view. And this would be included as my expression page for that project. Now, people often ask, what should be included as an expression page? What are we looking for, especially when we are judging at like a county record book competition? The rule of thumb I give people is the expression page should be teaching the reader something that you learned in the project that year. So, for example, if you did the entomology project, you could have a diagram of the life cycle of a cricket or something like that. In the baking and bread making one, you can share your favorite recipe. If you're doing your swine project, you could take a series of pictures of you vaccinating your pig and caption them so that the person reading it can see what steps were involved. So a good expression page is one that is showing what you learned in a way that the person looking at it learns something as well. So hopefully that makes sense. All right, so that's the expression page. The leadership development report. These only need to be done by youth who are 11 years or older and who are also a junior or a teen leader in the project. So I'm actually not sure why this is showing up on this person because I didn't think she was a teen leader for this project. But if you did need to fill this out, it would take you to this page, and it has the basic instructions on how to upload these forms. So these forms you don't fill out on ORB. What you would do is you download the template. And then it shows you this. So if I enabled editing, it should be fillable. So yeah, I can fill it out like that. So you would just go through the questions for the Leadership Development Report. I'm not going to bother saving it. And then you would upload it just like we uploaded the expression page. And then same thing for the post part of the LDR. You would create it using the template and then upload the file. So the pre-report should be done before the project really starts. So you should be working with your project leader to basically plan the project and use the template to help you set goals. The post part should be done at the end of the year or after the project is done. And it's essentially reflection questions on what you did that year. So that's the Leadership Development Report. And then finally, report, review, and submission. So this basically gives you a preview of what you've entered so far all together. So it takes all the chunks from these tabs up here and then puts it all together on here. Now you can preview what it's going to look like when you actually print it off here. Okay, and this is how it would look like when you printed it off to actually put it into your physical record book. So you can see it has everything that we've entered. And then down here are the signatures. So since I haven't actually submitted this form yet, this is blank. You can go ahead and print off the form like this and then sign it with a pen. That works totally fine. Same thing for the leader's signature. They can just sign this after you print it. Or what you can do is at the very end, it says Submit Report. So once you click Submit, it will ask you, are you sure? And now if we view as a PDF, and go back down to that signature page, you have your digital signature right here and it's already dated. And also once you submit an annual project report, if your leader is also actively using ORB, they should be able to view the report in their ORB. They should be able to view this document in their ORB account and digitally sign it. And the way you'll know if they digitally signed it is it'll go to approved. So you wouldn't have to do any wet signatures at all. You would be able to print it off and everything would be digitally signed. Now keep in mind for the APRs, you really do want to submit them once you're done doing them, even if you don't care about the digital signatures. And the reason for that is the personal development record. So if we go there and then we go to projects completed this year, you can see only baking and bread making is showing up on this PDR. And the reason for that is that's the only one you've actually submitted. If I go back to my project summary page, you can see baking and bread making is submitted, but because cultural arts and equine are incomplete, I haven't submitted them yet, they won't show up on that personal development record. So you do need to submit your APRs for them to show up in the project section of the PDR. Okay, this ended up being a pretty long video. The projects tab really is one of the meat and potato parts of the online record book. So hopefully you found this helpful, and we'll see you in another video.